Mr. Bismarck, Terrot presents two machinery at TexpoEurasia. Can we give us some detailed information about this machinery?
Yes, we are showing two jacquard machines, one single jacquard and one double jersey jacquard. The single jacquard is gauge 8, so very coarse gauge for circular knitting actually, and the double jacquard is a 28 gauge. We see a certain trend in single jacquards to coarse gauge, and there we are trying to let's say show also other customers, beside of the ones who have bought the machine already, what products can be done and how our solution looks like. In the double jacquard, double jersey jacquard segment, we see a pretty big demand already in 20 gauge, and now we see that it's going slightly finer. So that's why we have the 28 gauge here, which is actually from the family of a very proven type of machine. That was something what we felt in the last 6 months, that it will a little bit shift from 20 gauge to finer. That's why we're showing the two machines.
And you are represented by Erko Sanayi in Turkish market. How is this collaboration contribute to your power in the global market?
First of all, I can say we are very, very happy to have this partner, because they're pretty much understanding us as a German machine manufacturer, what we like to see to be handled in the market. On the other hand, of course, they are our bridge to the Turkish mentality, and it's a very, very good collaboration. Of course, we have a big focus at the moment on Turkey, but also Erko is supporting us, let's say, in the surrounding area. For example, we have also a very good demand from Uzbekistan, and the technical service has been done from Turkey. As one example, or partially sometimes to Egypt or other surrounding countries where we don't have that strong setup of service with such experienced technicians like we have them here. Of course, the sales are then organized locally, but the service hub is Istanbul, and so that is a very, very important aspect for us. It's always, from the sales side, of course, it's always about the local relations you have, and how good you are, let's say, integrated in the whole community. And service-wise, this is getting more and more important, and it's also very, very important for us. You really need very good infrastructure, first of all, and then very experienced people, and continuous training and so on. So we're also trying to improve there all the time. Well, of course, we have grown the business together very much in Turkey. So we are continuously growing even there, hiring new staff and training them. It's the case for Germany and for Turkey. So that would not be possible if the structure wouldn't be like it is.
Okay. What is your market share in Turkish and global knitting industry? Especially, can we know about your expectations for 2014?
If we look at market shares, we have to look at it a little bit differentiated. If I say, for example, it was an all-time high for Turkey based on circular knitting machines last year.
Okay.
As of course you can see in certain markets in Asia are a little bit more down. For example, China, of course, lost a little bit of competitiveness. So the geographical allocation of the overall business is, in our terms, a little bit more healthy, meaning other regions in the world, and also Turkey, gets a little bit more air to breathe. And also the European buyers have understood that it's a big advantage to have somebody near them.
Definitely, yeah.
That is contributing. Overall, we are of course looking not only of the biggest volume in numbers of machines machines sold. We are a manufacturer with a complete portfolio of machines. You can find for whatever demand you have in circular knitting, you can find a machine in our product portfolio. So that means we have to cover that all, and therefore we will not go into every, let's say, just price fight for a basic single jersey machine, either with whether this is China or Turkey or Brazil. So in the overall numbers, we can say we have approximately a little bit more than 10% in Turkey. But if you look to our specialized markets, for example, in the jacquard business, I would say we have one of the leading positions, and of course also in the normal, let's say, mechanical but double jersey segment. And yeah, that's the backbone of our business. So there we are quite satisfied. Globally, as I already said, we are exporting roughly every year to 40 to 45 countries. Sometimes, let's say, it's shifting a little bit. For example, yes. Syria now is of course not an exporting market for us, but was in the past and hopefully will be in the future again. Overall, we have a lot of mid-sized markets, which is also, of course, in our risk strategy very good. Then we have a diversified portfolio.
The effects of fast fashion in the industry results in a great demand for the different fabric and quality options. How do you meet the customer expectations in terms of flexible manufacturing?
Yeah, you're totally right. That's actually the same for our customers as for us. Well, first of all, we are trying to have for everything a possible product. In circular knitting, you have, of course, certain flexibility in certain machines, but it already starts with the diameter. The diameter is unflexible, so you have to decide whether it's 30 or 34 inch or whatever. We try, of course, to have certain conversion kits. For example, we were talking about the 28 gauge double jersey jacquard machine we are showing. This is with a plush kit. So you can do certain plus structures on that, yes. And that is already one thing where we are quite flexible. Of course, with jacquard machines overall, you have the most flexibility at all. But that is the aspect we're trying to support the customers with. But also for us as a manufacturer, flexible manufacturing is the most important because we have very, very short lead times. Customers demanding for very short delivery periods, and this is not because they want to give us a bigger task. That's because they're also under heavy pressure of the supply chain, yes. And that's our philosophy. We cannot blame the market that we have to deliver in a short period of time. We have to see how we can make it more flexible in our production to meet the demand better, and that's our daily task. How we try to match that.
Okay. And let's talk about specifically for the Turkish market. What kind of machinery does Turkish knitters demand from Terrot? How is your system working in context of products and services?
Well, as I said, the overall demand at the moment is more towards double jersey.
Double jersey.
Of course, there's still a single jersey demand, no doubt about that. But the old rule that single jersey was the majority is these days not anymore valid. I would say it's more or less, I think, on the same level, and it's going more and more specialized. So again, a lot of jacquard, as I said, single and double jersey.
Yes.
Also striper machines, jacquard machines, transfer machines. Also, there's a huge flexibility in such machines in terms of fabric. So this is actually the demand, and as I said, we're trying to give the customer the possibility to have more or less a single source which can supply them all. And of course, beside of the purely technical service, it's very important also to support the customers in terms of designing, in terms of handling jacquard machines, for example, because this is a totally different world if you run a mechanical machine or if you run a jacquard machine. And we were seeing this, of course, in the former days, also producing basic fabrics in Istanbul was feasible for our customers. But a few days or a few years back, of course, also costs have risen here, and people had to look for alternatives. And even there could be very old knitting companies, but the shift from maybe standard, meaning mechanical machines, to jacquard machines is not always easy for everybody. So that's also something where we see our part to support the customers also to cross that bridge.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's in our mutual interest. If the customer is not able to handle the machine, even if the machine is able to do it, we are both losing. So that's why we really focus on that, and I think we're quite successful.
What are your leading markets in the global industry, and also which regional market has gained importance for Terrot recently?
Well, if we look to a single country, actually, I'm quite satisfied that Turkey is the leading market for us. But if you look to regions, of course, still Asia as a region is the biggest amount. But it is, from our perspective, a very good development that Turkey is that important for us, because also in Turkey we are finding a very experienced customer base. And this, for example, is very important for us for new developments, because if we develop a machine, we need concrete feedback from the knitter. We can do a certain development on our own, but for really making the machine ready for serial production, we need the feedback and the cooperation with customers from the market, and that we find much better than in many other countries in Turkey.
Also, there is an intense competition in the knitting industry, as you know. There are many European and Asian manufacturers in the segment. Why should a manufacturer prefer Terrot in his production line? And why should Turkish manufacturers choose Terrot for their manufacturing line?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. It's a very, I call it always a very sportive industry. At the end of the day, you know, our let's say our slogan is "Experience makes the difference." We are the oldest circular knitting machine manufacturer who is still operative, and there are so many developments in the industry which might come back after decades. So there is a certain combination to the experience we have. On the other hand, we have this huge portfolio. So even if we see that there might be a certain shift from another way of producing fabric, could be weaving, could be something else, coming towards knitting, because people look for feasibility differences and so on. We can also try to bring our know-how into those new developments. Basically, there's also another reason. I mean, we are a German manufacturer. We are committed to quality. We build machines, which is actually very sad for my spare part department, but we build machines who should last very long. And of course, we also aim for customers who have a long-term vision, being in textiles. Sometimes here in Asia, when I have talks with customers or potential customers, they say, "Look, I don't know whether I'm still in the business in 2 years." And then I'm saying, "Well, this is your personal decision. I will not judge that. But basically, this is not the customer I'm looking for." because we want to be long-term partners,
yes.
and we can guarantee that we make our part. We will not compromise our quality, what many people do because of the cost pressure.
Sure. Yeah.
But we found ways with flexible and efficient manufacturing, which is actually pretty deep in Germany, in our manufacturing plant, and also with a very, very intensified commitment to research and development. Because if we don't do that, if we stop investing in that, we can leave the business.
Eventually leave the business. There are ITMA Asia in 2014 and ITMA Milano in 2015. Are you going to present new machinery and new technologies at these events?
Yes. The ITMA Asia is about to come, let's say.
Yes.
So the machines are already on the way.
On the way, yeah.
And maybe we can have a little emphasis on one very interesting new development, what we have done, which is especially not only, but especially being done for sportswear. Mm-hmm. It's a fine gauge transfer machine. And this is a patented technology from Terrot, mm-hmm. and we're about to develop the product lines with the big brands together with our customers who have bought the machines already. And this is a very interesting structure because in the past there was single jersey jacquard used to make what we call body map. Mm-hmm. If you look, for example, to the big soccer clubs and their tricots, this is the way what this body mapping is producing. And now we have found a new technology where we can bring into those fabrics already in the knitted process real holes. Before we were only able to make it by mesh technique, which is an imitation of a hole, but the people wanted also function. Mm-hmm. So we can now bring in this function by this transfer technology, and as I said, this is patented, this is only available with us, mm-hmm. and we are just starting to bring this into the market. So that is a matter we will show then on ITMA Asia.
And ITMA Milano?
And ITMA Milano, please understand that I will not disclose what we will show, but for sure we will show new technology.
Okay, thank you very much for the information.
My pleasure, thank you very much.